So go over the agenda again. We'll start with news, and then we'll go through the reminders like we always do. We'll have a conversation about what we presented at the B2B conference. Then we will go over the improvements for October, and then we'll do a quick demo, and we'll talk about the priorities going forward in the next couple of months. So we'd like to say welcome to the new villages. We're very, very excited about that. We've got the San Diego LGBT Community Center, which is great. And we've got Potomac Community Village, which is also super duper exciting. Welcome. Okay, so some reminders of our resources. A week from today, on Wednesday, we've got the B2B hosted webinar where everybody can ask questions and we have conversations. Customer service, so bugs, important questions, stuff like that, please email support. And then for improvement ideas, please submit your improvement idea to askhelpfulvillage.com. And then you can always access our training documents and videos and slides at our Google Drive. So training documents, always look over those. They can be very helpful for answering some questions. Training videos, we're working on getting more training videos up there because they are quite helpful because they guide you through everything. And then, so we've added 3 this month. This is a new document. How does the photo gallery work? And then we've got 2 new videos. How to insert and manage tables in your editable pages and in your email templates. And then we've got how to make donations while you're logged in. And then, so again, just to remind everybody, bugs and questions, go to support, and ideas, go to askhelpful.com. And then I will hand it over to Manuel for the release notes.
So I'm gonna mute myself. Mute. Sorry, not the right window. Oh. I'm muted here. Mute. Sorry. Ooh. I got this. So I'm on it, and I can share my screen again. I think I'm screen sharing, so that's good. Okay, so basically what we have here, we have the release notes. Before we start the release notes with the improvements of this month, we wanted to make sure that all our customers are up to date with the information we distributed at the conference. We made a number of announcements, so we want to go over our presentation at the conference. We will not go in detail with everything that you know already. So you're lucky today. We can skip my mom's story. If someone has not heard it, please call me on the phone and I'll give it to you. But basically, we were just explaining how I got involved with the village movement. That was me 4 years ago, which I couldn't believe. That scared me a little bit, but basically that's the Berkeley Library. And basically we're saying the support from university, the fact that we found the process a little bit complicated and hard, and the whole point of Helpful Village was making the same thing a little bit more coordinated and easier. Then this was also about saying that this is what we were doing before 2020, and then in 2020 with COVID, basically there's a lot of changes in village operations. So this is an image of, wonderful village in Cleveland, where when, we could, social distancing was not a word, but now in this year we have moved to grocery deliveries, online meetings, etc. So basically the question we're asking is that you need software that is COVID ready. We invited people to think that if they're using the same tools in 2019 that they had in 2019, they don't have the right tools this year. And and then basically we presented 2 demos. The demo we did is basically the basics of Helpful Village, is the demo we presented at the conference last year. And we tried to go very quickly over a demo of what is member management, service requests, etc. all we had last year, but we focused more importantly on the new features that were added this year. So it's a 2020 demo. So we went over the demo in 2019 with all these things that you know already that I'm not presenting today, explaining how the automatic emails save time at the office for more efficient villages, and basically showed the list of modules that we had last year, right? And basically the point we wanted to make is saying, well, this year is a very different year that I also said that we use extensively the reports, but what I want to say here is that basically in 2019, we had this stack of modules, and when we adapted to COVID world, we added these new modules. First one here is that we ask people to guess what is the blue box and the green box. So the blue box is a Zoom module that actually you have not been using because it's something that we just got ready now in October and we'll be releasing to the server this weekend. And I'm gonna show a demo of this Zoom module today. And what are the advantages of this Zoom module is, I think, everyone is doing Zoom and we just needed to be able to make it easier for everybody. But now, starting this month, the Helpful Village server can talk with your Zoom software, and that makes it easier for your members to register, and it also makes it safer because everybody has a personal Zoom link, not a shared Zoom link for all members, but a personal one. Give me a second let me exit the presentation. We have more people joining. We have James Ladden that is in the waiting room. Let's bring him in. Now come back here to the presentation. The other thing, come on, Zoom. So yeah, the other thing that we demonstrated during the conference was the check-ins module that you're already familiar with. So we're not showing that today. And then, well, we told people about our growth in number of villages, the fact that we have been transitioning villages from other providers, and we're familiar with this transition of data, but you all know about this. Maybe this is something that is a little bit more interesting to you, is the number of villages that we're serving today and how they're geographically distributed. So California, of course, Oregon, there is Joanna up there in Washington State, and then there is a lot of villages in obviously Northeast and all these other areas. This is also something that was quite interesting to me when I was doing the presentation, is saying, well, for those that have not heard of Helpful Village, don't worry, because basically this is what happened in the District of Columbia. We initially had one village, and these are the villages we have now. So we have 6, and they are neighbor to neighbor. It's like, this showed to me that our marketing was not very good, that basically the people were knowing Helpful Village because, they would, it's word of mouth, talking to your own neighbor, and this is how we were growing. So people that have not heard about us, don't worry, just the word is spreading by itself. This is quite something that we found very interesting also, is what we observe in Columbus, Ohio, where we also have a strong presence. We're helping now 6 villages in the city of Columbus. But what's interesting in Columbus is their ability to build all these partnerships locally. So they have a partnership with the city of Columbus, with the county, with Age Friendly City, with the AAA, and the Community Resource Center, which is great because they're perfectly coordinated, etc. And then they have the support from all these other sources. And this is one announcement that we made at the conference, is that you're all very familiar with the impact report, right? It's this one pager where basically we're saying, well, for your village, you have this many members, you have this many volunteers, you have these many events, etc. And we think this is great so that you can show the impact of your village to your mayor or your local partner, and they can see how effective you are. Now, the new announcement here is that because we are becoming so popular within the same city, let's say here in Columbus, and this is something we're working on with them, is that now we create the Aggregate Report. It's a collection of villages. So now, you see on the left there, is like a group of villages that are working together in the city, and now they can, on their platform, they can click on a button, create the Aggregate Report, and we're adding up their numbers, right? So that in the end, they can go to the city of Columbus, to the mayor, and say, well, not only we have 100 members in our village, but we are, I don't know, 800 members if you add up all our numbers. So this is something where they were doing before already, which is interesting, but they were making phone calls to one another, executive director to executive director, say, oh, how many members did you get? Or exchanging emails, but this is a waste of time. And it just made it much easier. So just with a click of a button, we're saving time for them. So obviously this is something that we started in Columbus because it just made sense geographically, but this is something that we will be opening up to other areas. So Washington, DC is another obvious example, but let's say, for example, we have a strong presence in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. We could, if people are interested there regionally or even at a state level, you say, well, how are all the villages in Massachusetts doing? We can work on an agreement so that we can produce this Aggregate Report for a collection of villages. Then we had a little word about Portland, where we also have some villages there. But our discussion about Portland is really interesting because we had a chance to talk with some of their I mean, in their partnership with the city. The city is very interested in the idea of the village, but for them, they have this requirement that it needs to be, there's a diversity question about, well, is he serving these neighborhoods, but we need it also to serve, Native Americans and these other populations, etc. And this was an opportunity for us to present our own efforts, because that I'm, I mean, committed to make this also more available to other people. And we have been working on the translation of our tools. So basically, if you look at the screen now, you see here the website that you used to see. And then basically this is the work we have been doing, so that is also available in Spanish, which finally my mom could read. and basically an invitation at the conference was saying, well, somewhere, anywhere in the country, if there is a Spanish speaking community where it's important to have the tool in Spanish, we would be glad to get a project started. I look at some numbers, something that is interesting. California, 40% of the California population is today Hispanic or Latino. Obviously, some of them speak English, but I'm sure in some cases we need to have a Spanish version of the software, and we're ready to do that. It was kind of funny also because on the call we had people from Canada, and the government in Canada was also funding their village, and we could do potentially the same thing in French, which happens to be the only language that I know in addition to Spanish. Let me just a second with another person entering the meeting, but let's go. Oh God, I have this list of participants in the middle of my screen. Okay, so we announced our diversity efforts, making the tool available in Spanish. So this is something we were very happy, and this is something that we said. And at this point, we wanted to start a discussion about these two other modules that you see at the top of your screen, right? And the next one that we're revealing is the red one there on top, is health. And this is an interesting conversation. I know I'm going quickly with the presentation, and I wanted you to know that I want to allow some time for feedback, and so that you have your own opinions on the village. So I should probably pause on this one. Because we want to hear from you, from the villages. Health is interesting. In particular, this year is the COVID year, right? Suddenly we have, well, vaccines, we have tests, we have, temperature, we have contact tracing, etc. So, and just simply, even before this year, health is a large component of the life of our members. We knew before about the medical, appointments and different things. So it's interesting for Healthful Village to think about, well, what are the things we could do around health? And health is a complicated topic, obviously, because it's highly regulated. We cannot, there is privacy regulation, security regulation, etc. And it's something that would be hard for us to do alone. But we were excited to see two things. First is that the project we're starting with San Diego is actually a collaboration between the LGBT Center and the School of Medicine of the University of California, San Diego. Actually, their village members are AIDS survivors. So part of their scientific study that they're running is about how these, social isolation and how these people that live through the epidemic of AIDS go through the epidemic of social isolation, stuff like that. So we're just at the beginning, kind of, this is, we have not done anything super further there, but personally, I'm super excited that we are working with the School of Medicine, and they can help us navigate HIPAA regulation and all these things they are very familiar with. The other thing that is interesting about health is that villages, in particular in Washington, DC, they are already offering case management services, and they have even case managers on staff. So we're talking also with some of the DC villages about, well, is there something that there could be in Healthful Village, so that this health component that is, managed through case management, if part of it could be on Healthful Village. Now, so this is what we're doing at this point. So this is not an announcement about today, but it's more of an announcement about the future. It's what things we expect to be working in 2021. We are looking for feedback from villages. We will be doing small steps and experimentation with San Diego and Washington DC about ideas that are interesting, and we will keep you posted. At this time, what I want to do also is first say two things about health. And then second, I'm going to invite you all to unmute and say a word about this, so that we have a little break, because I want to hear about you. But maybe before you go in, I wanted to say that health is something that is a little particular, that is not mandatory. I don't think all villages should be doing health. I think it's a strategic decision that each village can make in their boards. Is saying, well, what do we think about health? Do we want to do it? Do we want to do some of it? Do we want to do none of it, etc.? In our view, this is an additional option to Healthful Village, and villages can choose either to do it or not do it. So nobody will be forced to do it, but it's an additional option you will all have. I think there are good reasons for villages not to get involved with health. At the same time, I also think that health is going to come back many times because I mean, we're offering rides to the hospital, to the doctor. I know some villages have people that are taking medical notes. I know people are taking people to appointments at the oncology center. So if you're taking this person to the oncology center, you're already, I mean, there is already some information that can be related to the disease of the person. So I think it's a good question. And then here I want to pause. I don't want to interrupt for too long, but maybe if there are one or two villages that want to say a word and have your feedback about, good things of health, or what do you think about entering in the health arena, please feel free to unmute. We'll take maybe one or two people, and then we need to keep going because we have a lot of content today. But anyone that wants to say anything, now is a good time to unmute and just say something.
We actually went to, this is Carolyn King from Villages of the Berkshires. We actually went into a webinar today about Gray Matters Alliance, which is doing this very same thing. And they're from the UCP of Western Massachusetts, with cerebral palsy, and is trying to keep people in their homes, but they see it as a potential collaboration. So it'd be interesting. We're going to watch this on your software because we're interested in this too.
Okay, and Caroline, also we can take some time apart. Also, we are very conscious that it's a learning process for us too, right? So we're very happy to learn from you too. Thank you for that information. From the Berkshires, is there, if we have a second person, that would be great to express another opinion, and so that we start knowing what you think about this, and then we'll move on. Yes.
It's Carol. Carol from Beige Zone Neighbors. I don't have any specific opinion right now, but I was just trying to think of, possibilities. And I mean, I guess we're sort of at the intersection. The village on Cape Cod is at the intersection of, we have something called Elder Services of Cape Cod, and they reach out to as many seniors as possible. And then there's the intersection of the COAs, Councils on Aging. We have senior centers who also track, seniors in our community. So, there's almost like a triangle there. And then we've recently, we wrote a grant with our COAs and a group called the Alzheimer's Family Support Group. And, obviously what they do. So, we're thinking about ways that we can collaborate with these other groups. So, I guess we'll have to see, but, it's something that we could certainly give some thought to.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that feedback. For other people that could not, express their opinion today, we're interested. You can always send us an email to support@healthfulvillage.com, because the way I see this is that it's a learning process. And I think it's good to learn about this environment, whatever we end up doing. I think it's good to know how the regulation works, how the School of Medicine, how other partners think about it. So we will keep you posted about things that we learn and the little steps that we will making on the path forward. So let's keep on going with the presentation because we have a lot of stuff going. Well, basically this was a mention of saying that basically it's not only because we want to do health that everyone can do health. Health requires a maximum level of security, I believe, encryption and other things. And this was informing kind of the rest of the village movement that we have an excellent security rating today, which is not always the case with other providers that are focusing on other things. So that gives us this opportunity to explore health when other people maybe cannot. Now, this is another announcement we made at the conference, and I also want to hear you. I will be asking for your feedback about this one too. It's about national events. So this is how we introduced it, is saying that, well, many villages do a great local events and local programming. Obviously with the COVID, many of those went online. And basically now that we have this network of villages that we showed before, it could be interesting to say, well, should we be making it possible to add nationwide events to your village calendars. Obviously, only if you want it, right? It's like it's giving you an opportunity, and we're going on with a very specific example. It's basically, this is here on this picture is Petra, who is a real person. It's not only a fake online profile or a fake event. So I know Petra, she's in Berkeley, and I was living in Berkeley. So we know, I mean, it's a yoga instructor I knew in Berkeley. And I asked her, well, maybe let's explore this opportunity that we could offer to all our villages across the nation. I'm saying, well, Berkeley is the mecca of yoga, right? As everyone knows, it was invented in Berkeley. And essentially what we were offering is saying, well, we could offer the possibility to villages that want to do so to add kind of these helpful village event to their calendars, which we were thinking would be in November this year, right? So we were suggesting kind of Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific. That would be 2 p.m. Eastern. And basically for all of our villages that would like to give it a try, basically we would be offering 2 weeks of free yoga. So all the villages that want to have this activated, they can send us an email to support@helpfulvillage.com, and we will have a checkbox or a switch on your own software. But what we want to do is that basically all villages that say, hey, you know what, this class is interesting for me, that is offered nationally. Today's yoga, in the future could be other things too. But then basically we want to see if villages would be interested in these national events. As I was saying here, we have these 2 weeks where we are doing this trial. And then if we see there is a lot of villages interested and a lot of members that enjoy this class, well, then we will maintain the program in the future. But here again, as I was saying before, I want to pause and I want to hear back from you. If someone wants to express their opinion on what they think about the possibility of these national events, if it's a good idea or a bad idea, we're here to listen to you. So please feel free to unmute. And yeah. So if anyone wants to go in.
This is Susan Davis from East Rock Creek Village.
Hi, Susan.
If we signed up for this, would we know if any of our members went to it?
Oh yeah.
How would that happen?
So yeah, so what we're doing is that, great question, Susan. So basically, if you send us an email, right, what we will do is that we will make this event available on your calendar, right? So it will show up with the rest of calendars, and you will see the list of participants for the people that register for it. Now, the only thing is that, well, is using the, basically it will have a link to participate in that event, and that event is going to take them to to the Zoom space where the yoga class is happening, which is a Helpful Village Zoom space, because it's the same one for, for the national audience. But for you, it's an event on your calendar where you have the list of participants that were there.
Kevin Tippett here with Rivers East Village. And I'm curious, to get on board with this, is this going to be on a event by event basis, or is this going to be a sign up and let it go type thing?
Great question, Kevin. So for us at this point is we want to explore the opportunity about, measure the interest of villages. If we see that, we have 50 villages signing up for this, and there are 100 members that really love this service, well, then we would be adding other classes, instructors, or etc. So at this point, we go with one-off, which is this yoga class, right? Because, she's a certified yoga instructor for gentle yoga for older adults. So it's a perfect test. But then if this is a success, we will be expanding our offering and adding more events. But obviously I will inform, the thing that is really important to me is that that the village has total control of their programming and their calendar. And you can add these events if those make sense to your village. And if you don't want to, well, they are not on your calendar. And then, perfect.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Manuel,
Yes.
this is Margie. Is this something we're going to have to pay for?
So, yeah, so yoga, Petra is very nice, but Mina, she needs to eat also for some reason. So what we were thinking is that we gonna, happy to do these 2 weeks for free. to basically see if this is viable or possible, etc. And then, you know, measure the interest of villages. And then if that's the case, I mean, that's her profession. She's a yoga instructor, so she's teaching yoga in Berkeley and stuff like that, and she's paid for that. So, so if we see that there is a demand or an appetite for this in the village movement with our customers, then yes, we need to find a model where basically the same event would be, well, just you need to purchase tickets on your village website for this event.
Manuel, it's Carolyn from Berkshires again.
Yes.
Sorry, but actually, I'm in a focus group in Massachusetts of new villages, and not everyone's on helpful villages. But we've actually are proposing this tomorrow at the big meeting of all the villages, and we're doing this as a consortium ourselves within Massachusetts between villages. So for free, kind of like just to, because we all are kind of new, and so we all need programming. So we've all are researching in our communities things that people can do, and then we're going to sponsor something. So no, my point is, I think the more we can band together, it's great. But I don't know how everyone's budgets are. So
So Caroline, it's a great point, because you know that also shows our spirit here, which is saying, well, we have this feeling that people are, you know, interested in kind of having this kind of event. I'm excited from the Helpful Village side, because it's like, well, you know, putting it on a calendar for one village or for you know, 80 villages, for us, it's very easy, right? It can be a checkbox or something, and suddenly make it very easy for people that want to add events to their programming, so that is easy. So I think we'll go with this, and then see getting, you know, how many villages are interested, the feedback you get for your own members. But for me, it's like, let's do this yoga class, you know, and then we'll talk some more. But then if we see that this is a success, we could expand to other type of events for sure. I think it's interesting. There's also another thing that is incredible. This is I'm gonna participate in this yoga class myself, the world premiere. So I've never taken a yoga class, so I'm excited also to see it for myself. So I'll experiment it on my own, you know, on my own body too. But anyways, yeah, so this is happening quite quickly. We're going for November 2nd, which is Monday. So I'll follow up with you, but the villages that are already interested or considering this, please send us an email as soon as possible, so that we can give you all the information, the bio, the description, and put that on your calendars or something as soon as possible. So we're gonna get this started pretty quickly. Okay, let's move on. We need to keep going. We have a lot more stuff. These 2 weeks of free yoga we said before. Also, that made a beautiful team picture here. So you know Joel, you know Christina, and then Petra that was on this picture too. So we discussed here about health, and then we have one more box to go. And it's kind of also something that we introduced as you know, something we did for this partnership. So you know, we started in Berkeley. We're doing this with San Diego. We're doing some work with Ohio State University LGBT Center. And then we also got this into this Aging 2.0 Global Innovation Competition this last year, and we got this prize. And one of the things that we had presented to that competition is the following: is, as you can see here, the yellow module, which is this Alexa module that we add to Helpful Village. So I want to make clear, this is not immediately accessible to all our villages. I know sometimes villages are like, oh, can we activate that today? And the answer is no. But I want to show you what we have today. Why? Well, first we can say two things. I can show you a demo. I have a little video I'm going to show you in the next minute. And then we can discuss also about why we do it and why it needs to take a little bit of time. I would say, first of all, I want to have a brief discussion about why we do this. And then I show you the demo. First thing the thing that makes me excited about this is that, you know, we talk with a lot of villages. Some of them say, well, we have some members that are not tech savvy. They don't have a computer. They don't have an iPad. They don't have a phone. They don't have anything. And we cannot have them interact with the village or join the Zoom meetings or stuff like that. And I totally get that point. I also know, you know, my grandma would not carry an iPhone, and well, she doesn't want to use an iPad, etc. What I like about Alexa is the accessibility. It makes it accessible to more people. First, because it's easy to talk. I mean, you can say, Alexa, ask my village. You don't need to enter a password. You don't need to remember anything. You just need to be able to say a sentence. So that makes it accessible to more people. The other thing that I'm really, you know, enthusiastic about is that Alexa is almost kind of a picture frame on a table. You know, you don't feel it as a computer or an iPad that can be intimidating. I mean, I would totally see myself purchasing one for my grandma, saying, hey, grandma, I'm gonna put this here on the table. Here, you know, we have the pictures of your grandkids and you can watch the kids, etc. And then, you know, little by little say, well, you know, by the way, if you say, Alexa, ask my village, you can already interact with your village. It's just that simple. So I think it's you know, it's an unintimidating device that could help people interact with the village. So accessibility is something I'm excited about. Let me show you the demo and then I'll say one more word. I have a video here. Oh, who's that man? Okay, I'm gonna play it. Let me put the volume to the maximum. I hope you can hear.
No.
Can't hear it.
Wait a minute, because I know what happened. Because I have it on I can hear on my ears, but not on the microphone. Let me try that again.
Still can't hear anything.
Yeah. Okay, let me take off my headphones.
Dear villagers, I'm excited to present you this Alexa Show demo today for the National Conference of Villages 2020. So without further ado, let's go on to the demo. Alexa, ask my village.
I even know you can try. Alexa, ask my village what's up today.
Oh God damn it! I ruined it. I don't know if you can hear. Can you guys hear something? Because you can basically read it to you, but basically here at the beginning, I'm just presenting, saying hi. I'm excited to present this at the conference. Yeah. So let's go start the demo, and then here is where I say I turn up the microphone, and here's it. Alexa, ask my village. And here it says, hi, Manuel, you can try. Alexa, what's up today? So basically, she's responding to me in English. And then we can have this conversation going. Let's keep the demo going. Let me actually pause it here. I wanted to say that we have been working with Alexa for a while. We started on this last year, and we started with the Echo Dot, which is the Alexa that doesn't have a screen. And we actually started running this with one of our villages in California, in Southern California, that ran an experiment because I thought it was interesting. Now, me personally, I thought that Alexa alone, just the Echo Dot without the screen was hard to use. Because the thing is that you see the device, but you don't know exactly what are the sentences you can ask to Alexa. So basically in the end, you end up asking for, well, what's the weather like today? Or, you know, what time is it? But you wanna ask more advanced stuff. You need to know what Alexa is able to say. So this year, the improvement we added is that we have Alexa working with the screen. And when you ask Alexa, ask my village, that's the only sentence you need to remember. And what we do here on the screen that you can see is that Alexa is showing me other options, other things I can ask Alexa. So I think the addition of the screen and the voice is just essential. You cannot, I don't think you can use Alexa without the screen. But now that we have the screen, it's a guided conversation that is much more useful. In this screen, you don't see it very much there, but it's telling you different things you can ask our Alexa skills. So I can read it for you. It's like, Alexa, ask my village what's up today. Alexa, ask my village about events tomorrow, this week, next week. Alexa, tell my village I'm feeling great. Alexa, ask my village for a volunteer. Alexa, ask my village to call me back. So all those 5 things are things that you can ask to Alexa and will actually have an interaction with your village website. So it will read the events that you have on your calendar. It will ask for a volunteer from your database and will create a service request. So it's deeply integrated with your online platform. Let's keep the platform going. It's very short. Here I'm asking, ask my village what's up today. It's telling me that we have no events on that date. And the last thing I'm doing here is say, Alexa, ask my village about village events tomorrow. And and Alexa here is responding, well, oh God, there are 3 events on your calendar. It's showing me the pictures of the events, which is also, I think, very interesting because before, when there was no screen, it was saying, well, let me start with a list. 1, there is this event. 2, there is this event. 3, there is this event. 4, there is this event. And then the list would get so long, it's just impossible to remember. But with the screen, you can see the pictures of Petra and other events. So Alexa with a screen got us excited again. Now, as I was saying before, it's kind of a different animal interacting with voice and what are the sentences, etc. So it's not something we can launch for all village at this time. But what we would like to do is a little bit what we did last year is kind of take one village that wants to go kind of as a pioneer and experiment with voice and Alexa before we expand that to other villages. But I mean, in my view, it's just part of the future is making this accessible to more people just talking. So that was good. And this is just the summary of all the announcements we made at the conference. My last slide of this part of the presentation. So basically the Zoom module that I want to demonstrate today, the checklist module, I will not demonstrate. The aggregate reports we explained, villages en español, nationwide events with the yoga, Alexa with the screen, and health. So those are kind of the news. Now you're all up to date with what we presented at the conference. So we don't have much time, so I don't think we have much time for questions and answers at this point. We have another webinar next week. So if you have questions and answers, we can go answer all those questions next week. For now, I would suggest that we just keep on going because we have done a ton of improvements this month too, and we need to update you on the technical improvements we have done this month. So this is our regular, now what I'm presenting now is regular improvements that will go onto all your websites this weekend. So these are regular monthly updates that we're doing to Helpful Village. So I'm not talking about the future, but this is the present. Okay, this is the first one. So do you remember, this is a website editor where basically you can update your pages. One of the improvements we did this month that we promised last month is the possibility to add an HV footer button. So basically to any of your pages, you can put your cursor where you want to put it. And if you click that button, it's going to add the footer component that you have defined in your web templates. So you can have that from the web editor. So the link will be there. Now, the other improvement that we did before I move on to the next slide is that you see there HV events, HV newsletter, HV birthday. So all those are Helpful Village plugins that allow you to add kind of the most recent newsletter, a list of events to your pages, etc. Now, those modules are actually only available for the editable pages and not for the email templates, right? Because the email templates are being sent out on an email and it kind of doesn't make sense to show birthdays in an email. So another improvement we did is that we removed those plugins there for the editor when we're editing, email templates and other things. So this is what we're explaining here. Remove from the email templates the events plugin that needs to be replaced live. Okay, this is another one that is something that I'm very excited about. So for all our customers, you're aware of this discussion about the autosave, but I'll go quickly about it. Is that one day we had one customer spend 2 hours working on a web page, was not saving along the way, and then after 2 hours something happened, I don't know, but basically she lost the work of 2 hours. So that was terrible, felt bad for her. And then she asked us if we could add an autosave feature to the website editor. And I said, well, that's a good idea. We can try to autosave every 5 minutes so that you don't lose your work if you forget to save. Now, what we didn't think is that if you have 2 tabs of the same page open, every tab was auto-saving the content. But if you have an old tab open with the old content and you were working on a separate tab with the new content, you could lose everything again. Now, this month, we're adding an improvement that does the following. Now, we only save or auto-save an editable page or template if it is coming from an editor that has the most recent version, right? So it's kind of a little bit complicated to explain, but basically it means that if you had a tab that was open on someone's computer, it will no longer autosave if it's not the most recent version. So basically it just, if it's just a way for you so that the autosave is not causing problems anymore. Kind of funny, it's not that hard, but it's hard to explain. We did this improvement. I was talking with Jim Ludden from Taos, and basically this is a contact form for our websites. So we have two things on the contact form. Obviously, people can go in, enter their name, phone, email address, and questions and comments, and then send the message. They can also click on the links on the right. There is an Instagram, Facebook page for your village, etc. And there is one that is the email. Now, the change that we do here is that if you're logged into the platform, this is a hot link now. So if the person clicks on that, that's gonna open up the email messenger, and they can send you an email from their favorite email client. When you're not logged in, we're displaying an image. So it's not a hot link. The reason for that is that there are spam bots that are collecting email addresses from the internet if we put them in a textual form. So when you're not logged in, we're displaying an image that is hard for the spam bots to collect that email address. But if you're logged in, we know that this is a trusted person, so we added the hot link, so it's easier to send emails to your village. And from the website, now we're moving on to the volunteer module. Something we did with Petaluma is actually for the vetting steps. So if you look at the top, is what we had before, is that, you can add vetting steps that can be, background checks or criminal record or anything like that, and then define the steps that are necessary for your village for the vetting. And then we had the expiration date, which was kind of, oh, well, if you have, for 2 years, this is valid, and then it will expire. What we have added this month is the possibility to enter the perform on date. If you look at the bottom, there's one more field. So basically now you can say, well, we performed the background check today. It will expire in 2 years from now. So you have, you have possibility to store more information about these vetting steps. Another thing that was interesting, I think, also is on the volunteer tab. So the volunteer tab, you recognize there your volunteer activities that people can choose and the village builder activities. We added another text area that you can see at the bottom of your screen, which is volunteer notes. So this is a possibility for the village to enter some notes relative to this person about their volunteering. For example, I don't know, anything that is specific about this person. When they volunteer, they want this or that, or there is something in particular that you want to remember. It's going to be, you can store that now on their volunteer tab so that you remember. So there's one more field on this tab. This is more like a bug fix. This is the page for membership renewal. And basically for memberships that didn't have a monthly fee, we were always displaying this monthly fee circle at the end, but if it was empty, if it was nothing to pay. So someone suggested like, well, if there is not a possible to pay monthly, why add that? So now we don't display it if there is no monthly payments. We just never display monthly fee. So that's just prettier. Another thing that we did this month is that we gave the treasurer more rights. So different users have rights. As you know, you have admin and you have rights to everything, but you can have also a website manager or an events manager or a treasurer. We have now given more rights to your treasurers. So now from now on, the treasurers can log in. They can now search for a person in the database. They can add a donation or a payment to the database. And also, the treasurer can also see the admin profile of a person with limited rights. So they cannot, there's something they cannot do. They cannot see the attached documents to their profile, etc. But they can see, the address and the general information of the person. So just the treasurer has more rights, and this is great and more secure because people were giving admin rights to the treasurer, but now the treasurer can just, have access to exactly things that they need. This is a fix we did for the report. We have a report for expiring driver licenses and expiring insurance reports that was showing archive people, and that made no sense. So just make sure now that the archive people are taking off that report. Okay, and this is also again a very visible an improvement we did this month. This is about the photo gallery. So we introduced the photo galleries last month, and it was possible to create a gallery and add pictures, but it lacked some functionality. So in particular, what happened if you want to delete the picture, if you want to reorder the pictures in your album. So that's now possible. You can drag and drop vertically the pictures to change the order of your pictures. I can show you that in the live demo. This is another improvement about events that was interesting is because people are registering for so many events online, and they need to find their Zoom links on those emails. Just change the title of the emails so that now, before we were saying something like, oh, New York City Village registration confirmation, something very neutral. But now we're adding the name of the event to the email title so that people can search their emails more easily and find the right link. This is one feature we did for for Joanne, not for Joanne, but I know it was her idea, is when you're in the participants list of an event, you can choose the people in that list and then mark them as present. Now we added the checkbox that allow, that is on top of present, that is a kind of a select all. So if you know that you have an event with 6 people, rather than clicking 6 times and then mark them as present, you can click that checkbox up there and then mark them as present. It's a kind of a select all checkbox. We have a Zoom module. Hey, you're welcome, Joanne. I'm glad we did that one. It was actually quite easy. We have a Zoom demo I need to do today. And before I go into the Zoom demo, this is part of it. So let me just read this one, and I'm going to show that interactively. First, we have this the Zoom demo that I'm going to show that I'm very excited about. One of the additional advantages, and I'll demonstrate it in the demo, is that because now we will be using the personal Zoom meeting links for a person, not for a meeting, but for a person. Now, when someone clicks on that link, we receive that link on Helpful Village, and we can automatically know if this person was present at that event. So that will save you a ton of time, because you don't need to go over your Zoom participants list and say, oh, this person came, this other person didn't come, so I need to change this to present or something. We will change their status to present, because we will know that they clicked on the button join the online meeting now with their own personal link. So we know, we will update the present link. So that's just a way for you to save time. But let's move on and go to the live demo of the Zoom module. So I'm gonna go on demo, and then I'm gonna open up my Zoom. My account, I think. Meetings. Okay, so this is kind of, we see 2 events here, right? On my current Zoom, this stuff we have upcoming, we have 2 events, sailing and poker, right? Okay, fine. Now, what we're gonna do is that we go back to demo. We're gonna create an event very quickly. And we are gonna synchronize it with we're gonna synchronize it with Zoom. So basically I come here, I do add new event. So this is a yoga class. No, wait, gentle yoga with Petra. And then I choose a category. At this point, not really important the category we choose. And then let me choose the time. And this I can say it's today at 2:30 p.m. Okay, it ends at 2:30, open to all, registration required. All the other settings, default settings are okay to me. I'm not doing anything with the meeting URL here. I mean, I can add more information, as you know. I can upload a picture. Let's add a picture. Can I find a picture? Not even sure. Let's do it without a picture. Sorry. And then the description here. This is our yoga class. And then I can save this event. Okay, so we created this gentle yoga class with Petra, okay? And then now here, one of the new improvements we added is here, you have this add event to Zoom. So now I'm gonna click on this button. This has a confirmation, right? Like, oh, you sure you wanna send this to Zoom? Say yes. And that created the meeting in Zoom, right? So the first thing I'm gonna come here and show you is that if we go here to your Zoom space and you refresh this list, now we have 3 events. We have the gentle yoga with Petra was created here. So you don't need to go to Zoom, create the events or stuff like that. Okay, it's created.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, wait, and we have better than this, because my favorite thing is that it makes it easier for your members to join. And this is what I'm gonna show now. Well, first, let me show you first here. So let me see this event that we created. And we come down here, you see registrants here is 0 registrants. So it's basically created the event, but it's empty, obviously. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go here with Helpful Village. And here I can register for this event. And I can register this as an admin, but if people do anonymously online or anything like that, they can do that too. And then here we search Elda. and then, you know, register. You can add comments or stuff like that. You can add associated members if you want, but in this case, I'm just registering my mom for this event as an admin. I'll register for this event. Successful registration for this event, right? So this you're very familiar with already. You can see here that this event is already on Zoom. We can look at the attendance list on Helpful Village. And here we see Elda Rodriguez here as we expected, right? Now, the magic is on this side. If we go here to Zoom and we refresh, we go down here. Oh, there is one registrant here on Zoom. And then if you click view, you see here Elda Rodriguez with her email address that we have on record, right? And so she's already inside the Zoom meeting. So there are several things that are good about this. First is that this, you can have your Zoom meeting allowing only people that have their own personal link. Now, the personal link is also stored on Helpful Village. So when you go to this event, yeah, it's not available yet, but basically the thing is when you click on the join this online meeting or you go to the reminder email or the confirmation email, it will contain the personal email link for that person. I don't know where I can find this. It's kind of the most dangerous thing in the world. Yeah, I cannot find it in my email. It will take a little bit of time, but basically the person receives a personal email with the Zoom link. And when they click on the Zoom link, basically it's gonna take them automatically to, to the Zoom meeting, and then with their own name. I know for some villages, right, when they allow people to join Zoom sharing the meeting link or the meeting ID link, sometimes they show up with weird names, kind of Samsung or iPhone 4 or something. But if you do it with our way, registering from Helpful Village, we will use the name we have for them on our database. So you will be able to know who are exactly the people that are present in your meeting room. Last thing that we do also is that when you have people that go into, then click on their own personal email, either from the email or from the website, we will change this status from accepted to present, because we know they clicked on, they used their personal link, we know they were there. Okay, at this point, I want to do a little pause, and if someone has questions about it, I can definitely answer it. I know I wasn't.
Manuel, does the recipient person that you're registering need to have the app already, or will this automatically, but when they get the link, if they didn't have the app installed?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. No, they if they don't have the app installed, it's gonna send them to this page with an invitation. It's almost, I thought it was this one. Oh, here it is. Gentle Yoga with Petra. Sorry, this is it. Oh, this is great. This is a message that was sent to my mom. You see here? And basically this email, confirmation email, will contain a button that says join the online meeting now. And this join online meeting now, you see that there's this long link. They have their personal link. Now, this will take them to their website, to the Zoom website, and then say, well, if you have the Zoom app already, then it open up the Zoom app. If you don't have the Zoom app, you can download it from there.
Okay, so like it typically would. So no different for that
no
piece.
Different. No difference.
All right.
The subtle difference, right, is that, I was a little concerned with villages that are sharing the meeting ID with everybody, and then you don't know who's coming to your meeting. And sometimes people even were attending those meetings with kind of these weird names. When we tried this with Christina, she installed her app, but it defaulted to, her name was Samsung N905 for their Zoom when she downloaded the app. And that was terrible also to have her on the meeting like a Samsung something. But now, because we know exactly who that person is, because we registered them from Helpful Village, we will put her full name. So that's, first, it's easier for her, and it's also easier for the village to know, who is really there.
Okay.
One more thing I wanted to say about this is that we will be producing a training document to explain the same things I explained a little bit quickly today. So we will be doing either a training doc or a video so that we're explaining this, how it goes. But if you have any questions right now about you know, maybe if I was going too quick about the Zoom module or something, yeah, please
Yes.
let me know.
Yes, Manuel, it's Rivka from Philadelphia.
Hi, Rivka.
Hi. The one piece I'm not understanding is, does this mean that our village has to have an institutional membership in Zoom? Because we've had various people who have hosting accounts.
Yeah, great question.
That
So
use it as their own. So it's not clear to me how what account this is using.
Yes. So basically what we're doing here is that we are connecting to your Zoom account, and we need some keys. Remember that, I mean, you know this already when we connect to your MailChimp account. So it's a similar process where we need to get some, you know, secret keys so that our server can connect to your server. So we need those keys from one account. So if you have multiple people, you know, it's changing all the time, etc., it will not work. So yeah, it requires kind of one Zoom meeting space where you can produce the secret key and send the secret key to us.
So is that a regular individual basic account, or do we have to have some upgraded institutional account?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we are paying for Zoom. I mean, I only tested it with our Zoom space, right, for Helpful Village, and we're paying for it. Now, is it available for the free package?
I don't mean the free package. I paid, I think, roughly $100 for a year. There was a discount.
Yeah, I think that, no, I think that will be, that should be good. Yeah, definitely. And we can, you know, we're happy to try connecting it and then, you know, just test it. Yeah.
Manuel?
Yes.
I have two questions, actually. One is, does that mean if you can only use one Zoom, does that mean you can only have one meeting going on at a time?
Excellent question. We will try, you know.
So in Zoom, you can only,
I
think you can only have one meeting going on at a time anyway, unless you have an enterprise account.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Someone said you could have two, but I don't know that that is correct.
Yeah.
So you could not have two events happening at the same time then?
I mean,
that's determined by Zoom. You can.
Yeah.
I mean,
now, yeah, so definitely what I mean is that, thank you, Joanne, for jumping in. I didn't know about Zoom limiting to one event, but as you said, it maybe depends on the type of Zoom account that you have. If you have kind of a corporate or, you know, kind of a more advanced or premium. From my technical perspective, from Helpful Village, we are creating separate Zoom meetings. If you're creating them at the same time, I don't see, I mean, Helpful Village will not limit. I don't see a problem why it wouldn't work from our perspective. Now, if Zoom is limiting for, you know, for them to make more money, to have you upgrade your account, well, that's their own thing. I would say we just need to try it. Let's test it, and I can test it also on my own. And, and let you know. We'll try to.
And then my second question was, if the member accidentally deletes their email or something, will we have access somehow to get their personal link to resend to them?
It's a great question. So, so first thing, you can come here to the attendance list, right? And imagine the person, I don't know, they lost their email or something. What I would do here is that I would delete the person from here. Let's do it. And then we can register them again.
Oh, okay.
And then when you register them again, there you go. Now she got, it's a different link. So, but she gets the link again.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. That's kind of funny because it's a personal link. We don't want to show it to you because it wouldn't be personal anymore.
Right.
No, I'm sorry for that one. That was a, you know, software engineer joke that it was only funny to me.
Manuel,
yeah.
This is Carol from Portland.
Hi, Carol.
Is this a premium feature?
Yeah, it's a premium feature because we need to do some code, you know, that to talk to the Zoom, etc. But at the same time, we wanted to make it super accessible to all abilities. So we are making it really affordable. It's only $5 a month to activate it, regardless of the number of members you have. So yeah, essentially, if you want to activate, it's $5 a month.
One more question.
I can't.
again, Rivka from Philadelphia.
Yep.
We have ongoing groups where it's the same people meet every week.
Yep.
Is it possible for them to sign up as a sort of permanent member of that group so they don't have to register for every event every time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's an advanced question, Rivka. But I mean, no, totally. I can see the need. So thank you for pointing that out. In my view, I need.
Manuel,
yeah.
We do it a different way, and this would be affected. I typically clone events that are regular meetings with the participants.
Definitely.
So if that happens, will they then get their Zoom links the same way?
Yeah, that's interesting. So kind of, I'll have to come back, next month or next week with an answer to that one. Definitely, I think you're both right. I think the right way to do is that when make it easy for Helpful Video to clone the event. Clone with participants, I think is a great idea. But maybe we need to do a little change or a little improvement in our code to make sure that that works for the cloning session. So let's say for now, it's working for independent events and you need to add them to Zoom independently, right? But we're gonna be looking into the cloned events so that we, make it easier for people to go.
Great, thank you.
You're giving me more homework.
Always. There was a question.
This is what I was going to say. Okay, we're all good. Let me.
Oh wait, one more question from the chat, please. From Catherine, for the new volunteer updates on the notes.
Yeah.
Will the volunteers see the notes?
No.
Okay, it's just for the admin.
Yeah, that was a great question, and only the admin.
Another question that got skipped over is what about people for the Zoom stuff? We were back on that. Colin asked, what about people who use their phones to access the Zoom event? Will they be automatically?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they use their phones. It's okay. For us, we're just, it's pretty much the process is the same one that they were doing before. One of the main changes is that we're sending them kind of an individual link compared to a meeting link that was for a group before. But the process and working on the same devices and the invite to install the app should be the same as it was before. Whatever the device. Okay, sorry, I got to slip for 2 minutes. Because the thing that I wanted to say is that we're going over the hour a little bit. So we need to, we don't like going over the hour too much because people have their schedules and I understand that. We have a new webinar next week with the Village to Village Network, and that's happening on Wednesday, 28th at the usual time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's more of a Q&A question. This one, as you all know, these webinars are much more about Helpful Village informing you about stuff. And then next week it goes the other way around, where basically you're asking us questions, all the questions that you're asking here and other questions that you have, you can send them to us ahead of time by email to support@helpfulvillage.com, and we'll be happy to basically answer them at the webinar next week. So if you still have some questions, don't worry too much. We can answer all of them next week. Okay, perfect. And with that, I think it's a wrap. If anyone has one last word to say, or we're ready to go. If there is no more words to say, just wanted to say thank you everybody for coming.
Thanks, Manuel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.